Oh, hey there. Welcome to Biology 3040, Evolution. Quick inquiry. Have any of you seen an albino squirrel around campus? No? Haha, great. You never will, so I'll make that bonus. You'll join this class in perfect timing. Today we'll be discussing sexual selection. Sexual selection. Let's get started, because there's so much to discuss. So, sexual selection is a special case of natural selection that depends on the advantage which certain individuals have over other individuals of same sex and species in exclusive relation to reproduction. Before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's talk about the types of reproduction. There's two types of reproduction, asexual and sexual. Prokaryotes reproduce asexually through binary fission. This mode of reproduction likely existed for about 3.5 billion years. Most eukaryotes, though, reproduce sexually. Sexual reproduction is the joining together of the genetic material formed by two parents through a three-step process called amphimixis.
Now let's talk about the cost of sex. Poor Jimmy here, just a lonely squirrel trying to get a nut. From the search for potential mates, then courting that mate, so much time and energy is consumed in sexual reproduction. Let's not forget this process can actually decrease survival, expose individuals to pathogens, break up beneficial gene combination, and have a twofold cost. Although Jimmy faces all of these costs, the benefits make sexual reproduction well worth the wait. Sex purges deleterious mutations and speeds up evolution through recombination. Sex also protects us from pathogens in the evolutionary arms race, and sex shields us from environmental unpredictability.
Now for some scenarios. This starfish recently underwent a deleterious mutation, turning her bright teal. She doesn't blend as well as her neutral-colored friends, so she's easy prey for the deadly sea bear. If she ever gets the chance to reproduce, all of her offspring will inherit this flashy color, lowering their fitness just like with mom. However, with sexual reproduction, deleterious mutations can be purged and new genes can be introduced. Let's say our favorite star finds a sandy red mate. Their children have a chance of being neutral colored and will survive longer than, say, some asexually reproduced teal babies. If these starfish are blown to an area with lighter sand, sexually reproducing with a lighter starfish will produce a trait favored by natural selection, speeding up evolution. Instead of having to wait on these mutations to occur spontaneously with asexual reproduction, starfish can enjoy higher fitness from new traits gained through recombination. However, all's not well on Starfish Beach. Pathogens are present, trying to drain the life from our friends. Sexual reproduction, however, can also help with this. With asexual reproduction, there's no variation in offspring, so defenses will have the same weaknesses that can be exploited by pathogens. However, sexual reproduction creates genetic variation from recombination that makes it hard for pathogens to hone in on vulnerabilities in cell defenses. Sexual selection also produces a variety of offspring through recombination, some of which are better equipped to survive in different environmental conditions than others. Sexual selection occurs in two ways: intrasexual selection and intersexual selection. In intrasexual selection, individuals of one sex compete with one another for access to the other sex. On the other hand, intersexual selection occurs when individuals of one sex, most often females, select among individuals of the opposite sex. This can be observed in the scene where two boys are sitting at the bar, arguing over who will win the girl's affection.
Oh my god, girl, look at this cute guy I matched with. What do you think about him?
Damn, girl, he's fine, and he has a big car. Swipe right.
There are four major hypotheses explaining mate choice, and they are the direct benefits hypothesis, the good genes hypothesis, the runaway selection bias hypothesis, and the sensory bias hypothesis.
The good genes hypothesis is the idea that females assess potential mates based on phenotypic traits reflecting genotype. Selection favors females that choose males with good genes encoding positive traits.
Oh my god, look at him. Perfect bone structure, thick hair, a perfect complexion. I wonder what his skincare routine is. Our kids would have the best genes.
Can I buy you a drink?
The direct benefits hypothesis is the idea that selection favors females whose mate provides them with resources that increase survival or reproductive success.
Would you like some champagne?
Yes, I definitely could get used to this.
Runaway selection is the rapid evolution of a physical trait in a male of a certain species due to the female's preference for that trait. For instance, here we have Sophia. She prefers only tall guys. Sophia and her mate ends up falling in love, doing the deed, and having a son, who turns out very tall, just like his dad. Each generation after will then have taller offspring based on the female's preference for taller males, and the cycle repeats itself until the population is predominantly excessively tall. Sensory bias is the preference for a trait that are an artifact of some other sensory pathway. For instance, the female foxes love eating red meat. Some males evolved to have red fur, so now she is more attracted to the males with red fur as opposed to orange or black. Genetic compatibility is where mate preference is driven by the selection of a genotype, such as a trait for smell, that will result in optimally fit offspring.
There are two different types of competition: pre-copulatory and post-copulatory. Pre-copulatory competition typically occurs in the form of intrasexual selection, when individuals of the same sex compete for the opportunity to copulate with individuals of the opposite sex. This competition can be direct, with physical combat, or indirect, with reproductive competition. Here are some scenarios.
At daybreak, a family of lions gather around their cave for a meal. As you can see, the parental male is with his lioness and cub. However, two other male lions attempt to further their gene pool and copulate with the lioness. The satellite male hovers around, waiting for his chance, while the sneaker male attempts to increase his chance of mating with his stealth. We must watch further to see which lion is successful in his copulation efforts.
That's just the circle of life, my friends. With that being said, let's move on to post-copulatory competition. Post-copulatory selection is selection acting on sperm and eggs after reproduction. Today, we'll learn about two examples: cryptic female choice and sperm competition. With cryptic female choice, females have control over which male sperm have success in fertilization. For example, female mice can produce enzymes in the vaginal passage that break down sperm containing the same MHC genes as their own. Females of some species even store sperm from multiple males and then later choose which sperm to utilize. The other area in which selection can occur is in sperm competition, when sperm from multiple males compete with each other to fertilize a single female egg. Typically, the male with the fastest and most numerous sperm wins out.